I was at the barber shop last week and I asked my barber a question that I don't think he's ever been asked before. And I can tell because when I asked the question, he stopped cutting my hair and I could just see his reflection in the mirror and he was lost in thought. He really had to process what I just asked because it was a bigger question than I think he was used to hearing. But it's a really important question, and I think most people never ask themselves it, and that's why they're never able to actually build the life that they really want. And it's the same question I had to ask myself before I started building my business so that I knew I was building the right thing. So the question I asked my barber was, what do you really want out of life? If you could live life any way you wanted, anywhere in the world, and time or money wasn't an issue, what would your life look like? And that's when he just stopped. Now, the answer he gave me was very detailed, and I could tell it came from the center of his heart. And it was a beautiful, beautiful answer that if he had that life, I could tell would bring him just pure joy and happiness and fulfillment. It involved him being able to travel with his family, live in different places around the world, not be forced to cut so many people's hairs every day and make conversation with everyone. Turns out he's a little bit of an introvert, which was interesting. And that was all great, but then I asked him a follow-up question, which is where it really got interesting. Because even if people ask themselves what they want out of life, if they don't ask this follow-up question, then it doesn't actually have any value and it doesn't actually matter. And so I asked him, do you think this dream life could actually become a reality? Or is it just a dream that's never going to happen? How well you answer this question is the difference between stuck in a job you hate and a life that you just don't love versus having your dream life and being able to do anything that you want or desire. And so he gave me the typical answer that, like, yeah, maybe one day it could, but, it's going to be a really long time before I could make that happen. And then I asked one more question that is the absolute game changer on whether or not you can build your dream life or not. Because most people will say, yeah, maybe one day it could happen if I made the right investment or I won the lottery or I finally made that decision to start that business or whatever it is. People will usually find an excuse and that's what keeps them stuck. And so I asked him, why not shoot for more? Why not think that maybe it could happen in the next 5 years, maybe 10 years? It doesn't have to be when you're 60, 70 years old and retired. And me just saying that to him, I could see the difference it made. It gave a sense of external validation that he was like, do you really think it could happen? And it makes people think, like, it's not just a dream in my head. Like, is that actually something that could become a reality? And so having a little bit of validation can be the game changer and tell you, why not go for it? Why can't you be the person who goes and makes that dream come true? I think most of us are surrounded by people who are living that average life, whether you're in a job or you have a small business, but you don't have a real plan to actually think about what your dream reality is and then be able to work backwards and actually reverse engineer it. Your beliefs are shaped by what you've heard from the people around you. And if the people around you don't have your dream life, nobody's going to be able to give you the beliefs or the examples or the leadership you need in order to actually do what you dream of. And if you don't have those beliefs and you don't know what actions to take, that reality can't come true. And so I asked him, why not? I tried to give some examples to him, like, what if you could charge $5,000 for a haircut? Now, I know a lot of people are going to hear that and say, what's wrong with you? I would never pay $5,000 for a haircut. But I guarantee you that if someone made the experience that amazing, there are people with money who would pay for that experience. And so when you look at what you really want, if you can change your lens from being problem-oriented to solution-oriented, you can find creative ways to come up with a path that will lead to your dream reality. Now, maybe there's other ways he could have done it. He doesn't have to just do $5,000 haircut, but it was only a conversation that lasted 15 minutes. And it was just that I wanted to instill the idea that it is possible. You just have to be willing to think creatively and problem solve creatively. And that's why before I even decide to work with someone as a client, I ask them, what do you want out of life? Because if somebody doesn't know what they want or why they want it, there's a very good chance that they're not going to put in the work to actually go and make it a reality. Making your dreams come true can be very simple, but it's never going to be easy. If it was that easy, everyone would be living their dream life. However, if you know what you want and why you want it, and you have a good enough reason, you're going to be able to overcome any how and make it come true. If you haven't asked yourselves these questions and you've doubted your own abilities, or you've had other people around you tell you that you can't do certain things, I just want you to question it. Ask yourself why you can't do these things. And there's a good chance you're going to realize there isn't a good reason. The only thing stopping you is your own beliefs and your fear of judgment from the other people around you. I want to help you break those beliefs and take the steps to actually move closer towards your dream life. And that's why I put together this document called the Dream Life Design Guide, which is meant to walk you through asking yourself these questions and actually figuring out, where do you want to go, why, and how could you actually start getting there. This really is the first step in creating success and creating the dream reality that you want. And so I strongly recommend you go through this exercise if you seriously are considering building a different life, the life that you really want for yourself. And so if you want that guide, you can get it just by clicking the link in the description below. And I'm confident that it's going to help you work through and visualize the future that you want for yourself. So go ahead and grab that and fill it out. And I really wish you the best of luck in creating the future and the dream life that you deserve.